is Usinoyolo Sifo, so Usinoyolo Sifo, meaning we're blessed. A young boy from Mthatha / Lusigisigi, because I was born in Lusigisigi, raised up there and then moved to Mthatha, by the Eastern Cape. Pharmacist by profession, married to a beautiful wife, Nondumiso, and a food content creator. Cookbook author.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room.
Take us back to family, your siblings. Was food a big thing when you were growing up?
So let's rewind to the olden days. Guy, my father's a family guy. We used to go on trips, vacations, but after hard work. So during the year, how the year would look like is like help out a butchery, help up a farmer. So he had a farm. I remember even when my wife said we opened this, it was like, I don't want people to see me now. It's gonna raise attention to me. I never used to post myself because I'm always like mindful of what people say. So it's something that's there and a lot of people are still struggling with. You know that you're afraid of how people are gonna say you look, how you talk on camera. I mean, my English is not that great, but I always tell people it was one of those things that was holding me back. I never wanted to show my face. I never wanted to go. But now opportunities are coming. Sifo want you to cook on a TV show. And I have to overcome that. And we cannot all be perfect.
The more you care about what people think about you, it's actually an ego problem, not a shyness problem.
Fast forward, I had 500 followers within the same year. I think, I got a TV gig with ENCA. And I always say to this day, maybe the guys must answer me, how do they find me? Because I don't understand. Like, I was a very small creator. This journey, when we're starting the whole thing, it's just about taking and keeping my food pictures. So for me, in my mind, I'm not doing it for content creation. My mind space is not there. I'm just a pharmacist, but I love cooking, so I'm just posting these things for people.
I always say you can have the cure to cancer, but if you just have it in your house, nobody knows about it. It also becomes a selfish thing.
You need to look at the long-term effect of this partnership that you are partnering. Yes, it might be good at that time, giving you 100,000, but what dent is your brand taking? When you remove people's perception, you're stuck with your own perception of, I want to get there, regardless of so and so says what. If I listened to those external voices, I would never be here sitting with you today, to be honest. So for that person that is stuck there, do it. Do it. Remove people.
Yeah, so really excited for this episode. I have the one and only Sifo the Cooking Husband. I always say that I always have to remember that your name is Usino. Sinoyo, how do you say it? Sinoyolo, exactly.
Sinoyolo.
But all of us know Sifo, and it took me a while to get to understand it. Okay. His name is actually not Sifo. But man, we're really excited to have you on the Creator Concept. I've been wanting to make this happen because I think you have such a beautiful story and a beautiful journey that others can take and apply into the things that they're creating. So, Sifo, for those who don't know you, please introduce yourself.
My brother, thank you so much also for the invite. I know we've been talking about this for a long time now.
Yeah.
I think it's been 2 years.
Yeah, actually it has been,
when you first mentioned it. So yeah, first of all, congratulations to you for actually going through, and thank you for having me. Sifo is Usinoyolo Sifo, so Usinoyolo Sifo, meaning we're blessed. So I guess when my parents had me, they were feeling it. So yeah, that's what it means. We are blessed. Yeah, a young boy from Mthatha / Lusigisigi, because I was born in Lusigisigi, raised up there and then moved to Mthatha. So
nice.
By the Eastern Cape. Pharmacist by profession, guy who's married to a beautiful wife, Nondumiso.
Mrs. Manager.
Yeah. And a food content creator. Cookbook author. He has the coolest titles, eh?
Yeah,
it's like very hard to keep up with them. But yeah, that's
life, man. I think it speaks to exactly what the Creator Concept is, and that is we are born to create. Meaning that we're not, one, meant to fix in just one box, and then two, whatever ideas we get, we're meant to actually apply them and do them. That's why I was speaking to someone, Uleti, and we were speaking about, I saw a studio in a cafe in Mhlanga. It's called the Studio R&B. and had an idea of opening up a studio cafe.
Oh.
And we was talking about there's no such thing as an original idea. If you don't do it, someone else will do it.
Yes,
and someone else will catch that. So
true.
that's why the titles go up, because you keep experimenting, you keep applying, and you're finding better ways to serve people, which I think is admirable. Now, before we speak about the great successes you've had in terms of what you've been able to build, take us back to family, your siblings. Was food a big thing when you were growing up?
So let's rewind to the olden days. So I grew up at Sigi first, and then moved to my father's place. So my father has 10 kids.
That's what I'm talking about. My father has 12, so we're in that double
siblings,
digits.
Yeah, there's a lot of us. But he made sure that when we grew up, Sikula under just one roof and knowing each other like that. So we never had that thing about umntana kazibani. So we were all under the same roof. And he was a family guy. My father's a family guy. We used to go on trips, vacations, but after hard work. So during the year, how the year would look like is help out a butchery, help up a farmer. So he had a farm. And we used to hate those things growing up as kids. I know some of my brothers used to like it, but some of us, I was more in books, so I was like a bookworm. So working outside and stuff like that, I was not that great. Okay. So, but I had to do it.
That's so good.
So yeah, it looked like when we grew up, farming, getting taught about the butchery, the business. But now I was laughing, telling my wife that, you know what, it's so funny because when we grew up, we never looked at those things as building us, but he was actually instilling a lot, and I'm thankful for that, because my journey now, I'm in food, and I understand so much about meat, butcheries, growing your own veggies and herbs and stuff like that. So he was actually instilling a very important skill. Yes, when you're a kid, you don't look at it that way.
Yeah,
it's hard labor.
Yeah.
So yeah, food has always been something that has been around based on those aspects. I mean, my siblings and I, when we were in high school, we didn't have a helper. So my father, for some odd reason, decided no more helpers for us, because my father and mother never used to stay with us in that house. They were busy, business, farm. So they had a separate house where we grew up in Tata, Sihlala Sonke, and so we had a helper for some time, but for some odd reason, when we hit high school, he decided, you know what, no more helper. These are grown-ups. So I think also that's when our food started shaping up, because we had to have a roster cook. We cooked our own food. Bro, I used to bake umpago. It was at the back, it's still at the back of my mind, but as a kid, imagine grade 10, you can ask me, I didn't even have measurements, but I knew how to bake umpago because we had to learn how to cook. And we took 10. So if you meet any of my siblings that will tell you they can't cook, yes, those that were terrible in terms of flavors and stuff, but
everybody can cook.
Yeah, they can cook.
Yo, that's so good, man. Shout out to your dad. I think as we are becoming, I know I'm a parent now, and I'm learning how important it is to raise your kids up in the right way. And I think in hindsight, I'm looking at the fact that you grew up in what we are trying to learn now, because we see where the world is going. All of us obviously wanted to get educated, wanted to study and so forth, but the world is going back to farming. Yes, the world is going back to, the whole world is going back to making sure that you're self-sufficient, because everybody's speaking about food security, the things that are happening around the world. And I think, like you're saying, that in hindsight, when you look at the way that your dad prepared you guys for where you are now, I think that is just gold and that is wealth. And it's encouraging us to make sure we also do the right things. I look at my son now and I'm like, I need to, teach him these things.
Principles.
We were even laughing the other time when we were shooting, and we were laughing. We were looking at Evo. You're growing up, it should just be something.
Yeah.
Now you have to go buy Evo at Woolies, and you're like, wait, that's something.
When you start seeing the price, I think that's what's interesting, with the food and just the whole agriculture sector. It's when you're now grown up and you actually have to buy these things, you started understanding the value, and then you're like, hey, getting a seed and planting something is gonna be much more
100%.
cost effective, because those avos in these grocery stores now, they even range at 100 rand.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
To buy 2 ripe ones, but 80 rand. Like, hey, my guy, hold it. My granny used to sell this for 2 rand.
Bread now is, I don't know, because I'm not a bread eater that much. I don't know, but I know the prices are also up. So
100%.
imagine knowing how to bake your own bread, and you run away from those things.
Man, this is, it's so important to learn this.
So, I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to the sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Creative Replay. That's my team. So, here's the truth. Your podcast should be doing more than just existing. It should be building authority, generating leads, and positioning you as the obvious authority in your space. And that's exactly what we build for our clients. We take your expertise, whether it's podcast, video content, or short form, and we turn it into a system that actually drives business. Strategy, production, and distribution done for you. So if you want to stop guessing and start building, fill out our application in the show notes. It takes about 3 minutes, and we will honestly tell you if we can help you. So click the link below, and let's get back to the episode.
And then pharmacy, man, I'm guessing it's not an easy degree. What pulled you towards that?
So pharmacy was actually something I found by luck.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to be honest and say it. So growing up, there was this doctor, I think I still remember his name was Dr. Singh. So I used to look up to him. So I think he was a GP, but my mother used to take us to him. So
This is a doctor in the area?
Yeah, when we were growing up back in Eastern Cape. So Dr. Singh.
Shout out to Dr. Singh, man.
Shout out. He drove a Pajero at that time, I think Pajero, with if you don't call yeah. So I used to love cars as a kid. So I remember my mother telling me this story that we went to his practice. I think I was sick. And I was like, doctor, one day I want to be like you. So that principle now, every time when people ask me as a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? Doctor. So it was then I wanted to be a doctor. So fast forward high school, yes, I still want to be a doctor. I did subjects that will take me there. And then I applied at UCT. So only applied at UCT.
Only.
So I told myself I want to be a doctor and I need to go to the best and top. But that was just naiveness as a kid. I guess those days we didn't have a lot of advice and stuff like that, and our parents were not equipped with that. But I think that's something I would tell people to diversify. So that was my biggest mistake, to just say one varsity. And then my friend is applying and he's also he also wanted the medicine and stuff. The second option was engineering, I think civil, and then I ticked that box at UCT as a second option. Okay. So my friend puts pharmacy. I'm like, what's this pharmacy? Yes, I knew pharmacists as people that were count and giving you medication, but I was not invested in that. So there was a varsity in PE. I remember my brother, most of my brothers studied there when it was still called PE Tech and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let me put. So I tick pharmacy. But remember now, I'm just putting. My mind has told me that I'm going to be accepted, of course, in UCT. Oh. I was top in biology. I was top in physics.
It was just the option that was there.
I was a top performing matrix. So people that know me, I'm a bookworm. So I don't know about now because I haven't tested my mind in a while. I actually need to go back. So I was those kids that were top achievers, top achiever. So there was just something in me. It's like, UCT, number one. Hey, the letter came back. Ding. You're not accepted. Ooh. And I'm not even taken for the second choice civil. I don't know. It was hard back in there. When was it? To put people into the picture. 2007. Yeah, that's when I matriculated. So, point systems were really high. You couldn't just get it. So, NMMU responded. Even then, I think I got accepted on their extended program. They still were offering extended program. And then I went there. So, funny story, my father's like, you need to do medicine. So Iwusu, they went there to try and see if there's no way we can apply for BSc. But I was like, I don't want that route. I don't want to go BSc. So I made my mind. I was like, you know what? God doesn't want me to be a doctor. It's fine. I'm going to be a pharmacist. And I pushed with that narrative. I started enjoying pharmacy. And I qualified, and I was practicing as a pharmacist. So but in terms of it as a degree, it's quite hard. It's quite hard. I won't lie. It's a very you need to be focused there. So when you're doing pharmacy, there's a lot of theory involved, a lot of chemistry. As you can see, medicine works in your body, so there's a lot of things that you have to remember.
I think, yeah. I'll always look and, when you get there to the town, you have to tell them what you need and so forth. I'm like, how do they know? Like,
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, how do they learn how to read scripts?
The writing part, actually.
Yeah.
You don't learn, actually, hey? And a lot of people think pharmacists are taught.
Then how do you know?
I don't know. It's just you have to figure it out. But sometimes it does get difficult. I know when you're practicing in private, you'll have groups. And sometimes, like when you can't really, really see something, you'll take a picture of the script, post it in the group for other people to just gauge.
So do doctors make it on purpose? Or are they trying to make your life hard on purpose? It's I test.
We need to have a doctor in this podcast.
I need to hook you up
answer
with
that
Dr. Viz
that
and
question.
Like, what happens
what
there?
happens there? But most of them, they have these horrible writings. But I think now things have improved. The digital platform has improved. So you find that scripts are now emailed and typed and yeah.
Sure, that's so good. You see, now I want to fast forward. I mean, man, we were chatting last night and I was asking about the amount of books that you've been able to sell. First book, we're hitting 15,000 copies. Second book, 5,000 copies. And I knew that you did great with the copies, but I'm like, what? This is the story to be celebrated. And
when you put in quantities,
you're the quantities, you're like what?
Yeah.
Hey, I know this man. Yeah. So I want to fast forward to the cooking side of things now. I think you went from cooking in pharmacy, putting formulas together, and now you're cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah.
How did that journey start? Can you take us to what was your frame of mind? What was your thinking? Did it just so happen, or you were intentional about it?
So yeah, cooking, which is very interesting. Always when people ask me about this, there's my father's phrase that he said. So he's like, "Ndakuthumela ufundi pharmacy, wabuya sowupheka."
Sounds like an African man.
But yeah, he was a proud father after that. He saw the whole picture. So
sure,
I think, like as I said in the beginning, food was always something around me. So there's this thing that I used to tell people. I used to watch a lot of cooking shows growing up, so I was interested in food. And then university, I used to explore a lot. So though I was a student, no money, but I would still push my limit, like buy different spices, cook for my friends, and they would be impressed. Like, nice. That pasta, even pilcha, because in res budget, you don't have access to the finest ingredients. But I'll make it a point. Even sometimes I'll play around with eggs. I know we used to like eggs as gents in the morning when we communal almost. We used to share eggs and you spice it up with the different. Then friends were like, "Oh, what did you put there?" So I've always been that person who has been interested in just cuisines.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, I meet my wife, and I don't have game. Like I can't talk. I mean, I will share like people used to do it, but I was like, hey, for me, I just like. Because I'm not a talkative guy, but I used my hands. So I cooked the meal, charmed her, and then she got, that guy, yeah. I'm like...
Actions speak louder than words. Yep, that's what they say.
Like, and I used the talent that I have. So, cook. And then my wife encourages me. So I would see her reaction every time she eats my food. And then fast forward, we're dating early years of marriage. We got married. And then... I had a page, like a private Instagram page where it was just my page. Then my wife, I used to shoot food. So when I cook, I'll take a picture.
And then post it onto that.
So my wife was like, you are bombarding us with food. Can you open a separate food page? Then, guys, we're very like, why 2 pages? One page already is enough. But I listened as a good husband. I'm like, okay. Then we're sitting there debating, okay, what must this page be? Then it's like, husband cooks. So, when you're bouncing ideas. I remember that day, like, vividly. It was a Saturday. We were packing. I think she was packing her shelf, like a clothing shelf, and I was just sitting in the bed. Then I'm doing this thing now, opening. Then I put a picture. So I'm designing. I like designing also.
Yeah.
So I'm designing a log. I'm like, okay. Then for some odd reason, both of us came with the name because it was a collaborative. She came with the husband cooks. Then I was like, what about Sifo the Cooking? Then, okay, Sifo the Cooking Husband. Posted it. I remember posting the first picture. Got a lot of likes for the page because I advertised then on my private page that, oh, guys, I have now a cooking page. Okay, thinking that is like when 2018, I think, yeah, then when we then 2018, 2019, I think, yeah, that's when we started the whole revolution of Sifo the.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, I had 500 followers within the same year. I think, yeah, I got a TV gig with ENCA. So ENCA lockdown, when lockdown happened, I remember that year, 2020. ENCA with Flora, they had a project to say, okay, guys, we're on level 5 lockdown. Can you produce recipes to keep people glued?
So how many followers do you have then?
500, just I think less than, yeah, it was like, and I always say to this day, maybe the guys must answer me, how do they find me? Because I don't understand, like I was a very small creator, even charging, they like imagine getting your first brand gig, charging, I don't know how these things work.
Yo.
I think even then I charged them very, like, but anyways, it was a story for another day because when people always, there's like TV deal, it's a TV and it's brand. So yeah, I was cooking in the morning, showing people what recipes they can make at home whilst they're on
Wait,
lockdown.
so this was flighting, almost every other day?
Yeah, maybe like, I think once a week because there was 4 of us. I think we're like alternating. And then, yeah, I was on TV. And my father said, Kaibo, TV. And yeah, that time it's level 5. So everyone is watching. So I always say, I think that my cooking journey, that's where it skyrocketed because everyone is at home. They see me on TV now. They're interested. And my name was also interesting because like it's like cooking husband. Like, okay, what's this guy?
Yeah, sure, man. You've shared so many good things. I have to pause there. You've shared so much.
Yeah, I talk a lot. You have
No,
to
it's
stop
good.
it.
No, that's good. That's good. I think the first thing that I have to mention, I cannot go past this. We often believe that your first most important day is the day you choose the Lord. Your second most important decision that you make is who you're going to marry. And I think that's what's evident in your story, that you married a person who believes in what you do and who also contributes in what you do.
No, definitely.
You brainstorm together, you come up with ideas together. And I think I still see it now till date.
Yeah.
Whenever either I see you guys together or I watch the online content, I love the collaboration that you have together. And I think that's such an important thing. And shout out to Mrs. Manager. I think that's the first thing that, it's important. We are on this creator journey and we do make decisions that seem like they're outside of what we're creating, but our association matters, our community matters.
Definitely.
The friends you keep, the person you choose to marry, the person you choose as a life partner can either collaborate together with you to go up or can take you down. So yeah, I just want to make that point. So that's such a good point. And then the second point is the fact that you didn't hesitate. You were like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. You chose a good name, which speaks to branding. I think that was absolutely powerful. And then the opportunity, what do they say? Success is when preparation meets opportunity. And for you, the opportunity came through with just 500 followers.
Yeah.
But you had to start doing it. If it stayed an idea, that was never going to happen.
Yeah, true.
But you actually decided I'm going to open the Instagram page. I want to come up with the name. I want to start posting the recipes that I create. I mean, as far as I know, you learned this. You didn't go to school. You didn't train for it. But you had a desire. You had a skill that you've been working on and you're still working on. And you decided to go on it. And an opportunity came. Yeah. Preparation met opportunity. And
not to stop you there, mind you, this journey, when we're starting the whole thing, it's just about taking and keeping my food pictures. So for me, in my mind, I'm not doing it for content creation. I'm not. My mind space is not there. I'm just a pharmacist, but I love cooking, so I'm just posting these things for people to see that I love picture. I like photography, food, and then next thing, there's a brand knocking on the door, saying you must be on TV. Then that's when I get to switch on the seriousness of, okay, Sifo, what have you done here? Because now you're on ENCA, ETV, you're working with big brands. So now I'm starting creating. I'm like, okay, because now recipes are an important thing. I remember even that time when we started, yes, my wife was pushing the whole supporting me, but I remember there was an interesting phase when the whole Sifo the Cooking Husband started. So ENC thing is over, we're back to think lockdown level 2 or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm coming back home, buying groceries every day because I want to create something. So the buzz is there now. I think we are like 2,000, 3,000 because the followers really, I don't know. Like I think I don't even think that it took me a year to get to 10,000. That's how quick it was. Like in terms of, but it's God's timing. And now my wife is saying, Sifo, I mean, you're wasting money here. And we're like now fighting. We're like, oh man, this thing is pushing. You can see how people are responding. They're always wanting recipes. Now I need to create. So yeah, but I think I'm a person who usually, when there's a moment, I'll reflect back. So I really step back. I'm like, no man, my wife is right. I can't be spending 500 every day buying. I was buying. I was in my element. I was buying. I was in my element. But I think that then taught me like consistency and level of work, but it also instilled a way of strategizing. So I was like, no, man, it's also unhealthy. You can't be cooking every day. But yeah, I just wanted to stop you there to say this thing was not like when I started the whole thing, I was like having an outlook to say, I'm going for content creation, but it found me, and I was like, I never hesitated when it found me. I was like, okay, let me also push. And put
So I'm smiling while you're mentioning that, because you're mentioning something that I always speak about with my clients, that often what you're already doing, you just need to document that. You just need to do behind the scenes of what you're already doing.
Yeah.
You don't need, yes, it's good to have intentionality in terms of having a strategy and knowing what you're going to be talking and posting about. But over and above that, you find that most people can just start by showcasing what they're already doing. If you're in real estate, just have a behind-the-scenes camera that follows you, taking people through the real estate tours. Like you're saying, if you're cooking, you're already making supper.
Yeah.
So why not take a picture of it and upload it? And then that's your opportunity.
That's true.
Yeah, that's your opportunity comes in. If you have a media agency, just do behind the scenes of you going to shoot your clients. Just doing what you already do. If you're a consultant, just put the camera on when you're doing your coaching calls. When you're on Zoom, put the camera on. And then you find that you're going to say things where you're like, oh, that's actually a good point. Let me actually chop that up, and then that becomes content.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that you mentioned that, because for me, it's important that when we speak about, the people that are watching are able to go and apply this and the things that they are doing. Like we're saying, it's the creator concept. We're all called to be creators. And that's definitely a big nugget. Just document what you're already doing.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I don't know, we're both big fans of Steve. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, I think, says that very clearly. He's one of the guy that gave me that quote. Is like his journey. If you look at his journey, how he started and just posting on Twitter when it was still Twitter, and doing those small captions. Yeah, it's like exactly what you're saying. Document what you're already doing, and just go with the flow in terms of putting in anything like craft-wise. When you don't put in work, then it doesn't happen. So you can have a skill, be talented, but if you're not practicing and not singing and not challenging yourself, as you can see, and people are not going to see it if you're not documenting it.
100%. If it's, you can have the best, I always say you can have the cure to cancer. But if you just have it in your house, nobody knows about it, it also becomes a selfish thing. Because I love the idea of servant leadership, that we're called to serve. One, we're called to create, but the things we create are meant to help people, meaning that we're called to serve. True. And we're most fulfilled when we see other people finding fulfillment in the things. I'm sure you find fulfillment when somebody gets their book and they tag you. I'm like, hey, thank you, I'm trying this out, and so forth. Yeah. So same thing happens here, that if you are not showcasing the gifts that you have, then you're probably depriving somebody else from either finding joy or finding a solution in the challenges that they have. Definitely. So to add to that, you're a pharmacist, you're not a videographer or photographer. What helped you grow in your content creation skills? Because now that's something else. That's a skill that you had to learn and apply yourself to.
Yeah, so that one, I don't know. I think ukuthandizindwa, they say ukuthandizindwa when you love of things and stuff. So just to give a bit of background. So growing up, I loved tech, but I never had money to, of course, buy things and stuff like that. But it's something I always like watch videos. I'm like, interesting how they get to do this. So I think even my siblings have this joke that phone. I think I was the first one to get like one of the smartphones and a cool phone. Yeah. So yeah, I used to like Walkman. You remember when there was Sony Walkman?
Sony Walkman. Yes.
The first one. I loved music. I loved exploring. So For me, pictures are, when I watch the food shows, I used to be intrigued by how they plate and it looks good.
Yeah.
And I would realize that, when I'm cooking for people, when I'm exploring university, the plating will play a big role, because you'll see how people react. Plated nice, because people first eat with their eyes.
That's so good. Yeah.
And so with me, camera, then, because I think for me it was just taking basics but styled. So I was like, angle, okay. Then you start shifting. I'm like, okay, when you put this angle, okay. But to be honest, it's everything self-taught. But of course, with a bit of information from there, watching YouTube and stuff, and watching guys like you in tech, and getting that information and advice from there, and then evolving it. Then it's more saying, okay, now a phone can do so much. You need to start buying camera. Which camera? Remember, my wife bought me my first camera, actually. That's how.
Hey, Mrs.
supportive
Manager.
she was.
Hey, we need to do something for
I
Mrs.
never
Manager.
thought about a camera. Me, I'm shooting with my phone. I'm like, okay, it's still fine. But I'm expressing. I'm like, one day I'm seeing content creators. I'm like, that is so crisp, the video.
Sure,
so she's
so
listening.
good.
And then, boom, she bought me a Canon something. And it was quite a pricey camera.
Yeah.
With a good lens, 50mm. And yeah, then that's when I started like putting more work in terms of the craft itself. I'm like, okay, lights, they look good, angle. So I'm more natural light, but quality. So people are also appreciating that. I think it was also pushing me to evolve, because I remember when I posted with my camera Canon, so I shot with my Canon a video, and it's so crisp compared to the phone. And then you see the comments, hey, what camera are you using? What camera? Then I'm like, okay.
They can see a difference.
Yeah,
they can tell
we
that
want
there's
to
a change.
something now. So yeah, it's most everything self-taught, but I'm one of those guys that like exploring. I'm like very curious. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so good. Again, it comes back to making sure that you have a good support system, which I think is great. Shout out to Mrs. Manager, man. But also, you chose to apply yourself. I think sometimes, as artists, we get so focused on the craft that we're creating that we don't focus on the other things that make the craft look good. And I have to commend that you knew that you were good at the food and the styling that you were creating, but you know that the best way for people to appreciate it is for it to be presented well.
Yeah.
And often a lot of people have great products, but they're not presented well.
Yeah.
And they often speak about this when it comes to communication, that you can have an amazing product and horrible communication. You're not gonna sell.
Yeah.
But you can have a mediocre product and great communication, and you're actually gonna sell. And that's why communication is important. And content creation is a form of communication in terms of how you're presenting the food. Man, again, looking at the amount of community that you've grown, you have over 280,000 followers on Instagram, over 270,000 followers on TikTok. Just by you starting a cooking page that you were just going to post what you're already cooking. Are there specific moments that you noticed that you got the most amount of growth as the journey went? I remember you said you started at 500 and then you eventually went onto television and that started growing the followers. Are there certain takeaways that you saw that were helping you grow the community quicker or more?
Yeah. We've really grown the community. Special thanks to everyone that supported The Cooking Husband. I really appreciate it. It's been an amazing journey and still going to be an amazing journey going forward. Yeah, the kind of milestones I remember. I think though every milestone is important, but I think there are those, like I remember first 10,000, like reaching that, I was like 10,000 people are really following me. That's
What were
crazy.
you doing in that phase? What were you posting?
So just more pictures. So remember how Instagram now was so pictures. Videos were never a thing. I think
true.
when I started. So it sounds like I'm very old now when I started. But remember, Instagram that time was more pictures, and I was really, really killing it on picture game, styling the food, making sure that the food looks good. Yeah, so I think that time I was still busy with that. And then fast forward, 20,000, of course you are great. It's like, hey, let's think. Fast forward, you have 100,000 followers, and now that's when we are mixing content. There's video now also involved.
Are you getting brand deals within this time?
So for me, I always say, God, and my amazing hard work, I've always got brands ever since that 500 followers like TV gig that we had during lockdown.
Yes.
Brands have always come. And it was so amazing that I think only in my third or second year, I might be wrong here, that's the only time when I started doing proposals. But I've been always having brands come to me. So yeah, that's
good.
so I'm saying,
that's
like,
good.
it's gotten my hard work. So yeah, in those milestones, we are busy. There's brands. I'm doing small campaigns there and there. And yeah, the growth has been really, really amazing. I think sometimes I was even telling my wife that, yeah, I need to just step back and process everything, because everything happened so fast in the last 5 years. I mean,
over 500,000 followers,
from
man.
starting there to really be pushing here. And even TikToks are things of now. I think 2023 when I started it or something. Yeah, because it was more Instagram and Facebook, and then I joined TikTok, I think 2023 after I published the book or something like that. And then that also grew so fast, and people were loving it. And yeah.
What are some of the mistakes you made when it comes to brand deals, if you have to reflect?
So let's reflect. So I think a few mistakes. So when you're a creator and you're having all these brands come to you, some things that we don't think about is alignment. So there are brands that sometimes I feel like they were really not aligning, and I should have done more research on specific brands. But I didn't take a big dent, of course. But it's just like when you're looking back, it's like, it was a mistake working with the...
Okay. So basically, you must know what your brand stands for, the things that you stand for, and do your best not to compromise for it. So don't, because sometimes the offer may look good.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I always try to tell people, like, I have to advise people in a masterclass, money is important. We're all chasing money. Let's be honest. We all want money, but you need to look at the long-term effect of this partnership that you are partnering with. Yes, it might be good at that time, giving you 100,000, but what dent is your brand taking from getting this? I mean, we had a recent scandal last year, Ali Buga, where people were telling people to go study abroad. I don't know if you remember that. I remember that. That was a big one, because I'm sure the money was there, but you see, not doing research and focusing whether your brand is gonna, it dented some brands.
You might be innocently doing it.
Yeah.
But the motives sometimes aren't always the best with the next brand.
That's the problem. So yeah, I think it's when you're doing it in the heat of the moment, it's very nice. Like, things are coming fast, and that's why I'm saying also with me, things were coming fast, and but you were like, now, is your brand really aligning with this? Because remember this thing of also personal branding now. It's all about authenticity, because I mean, yes, people like Sifo, but you need to be honest with your audience. I cannot be 100%. Pulling a product and saying, oh, guys, go buy this thing. It's amazing, but it's not amazing. So those are some of the things, I think, research. So now you're more mindful about those things. And I always say, man, God is going to supply. If it was not meant for you, it was not meant for you.
That's good.
Because some of the deals, when you take them, you come to regret them. You're like... why did I do this thing? And my mind was telling me, I'm one of the people that always have instincts if something's not gonna, I don't know, maybe it's another gift, but and most of the time it goes the way that I'm like.
You were seeing it coming to so
hey, you did say this thing. So
it's also, I think it's important to listen to the prompting when it comes to the brands, because then I think what they say, the more you listen to the promptings you get, the more that gift grows. Yeah. And then when you can just tell, I can just tell this is not going to be a good partnership, then you're able to quickly move back.
And I think also the other important thing with personal branding, social media, because people that are still starting this, they need this advice, because I think back in the days there were not a lot of podcasts about this, which we appreciate now.
That's true.
To guide people, pricing and stuff. You were just thinking on top of your head.
Yeah,
though still
100%.
Content creation is not regulated yet, but it's a matter of always aligning with a specific brand. Okay. So when you're getting that and aligning, and just focusing on what you want out of that brand.
Okay.
So because a lot of people sometimes it's like they get pushed to corners and negotiating there, and sometimes if it's not your worth, like you feel like they are not matching what your brand stands for, be able to say no and pull away. And a lot of people are afraid of that. They end up saying, I'm gonna lose, I wanna be there. Guys, sometimes we need to be honest. Brands are doing this for business. They are not here for friend as your friend. Today they might work with you. Today, tomorrow they see someone who's trending. So also people do not understand those concepts that when you start devaluing yourself, like, I mean, the brand comes to you and they're offering you maybe something that, this is not my worth. People still take because they want to stay relevant at a specific brand, but be able to say no, especially when something is not, it's not your worth, because you know how much you've put into this. And
That's
what
good.
this does, just to explain further to people, that the moment you start entertaining things that are not aligning with brand, that are not through your worth, you're gonna start taken for granted by the industry. The industry is more small, remember?
Oh, that's interesting. That is so
people
good.
talk to these agencies, they
That
know,
is
but
so good.
this one you can play around and push around, they will take whatever. So yeah, you need to start taking, especially if you have established your content creation brand and you know what you stand for. Take pride in yourself and value yourself.
That is so good.
If it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you.
No, thank you for sharing that. I think that is so good. Would you say then it's also important to see where you are in the creator journey? That when you're starting off and you get those brand exchanges, it's fair because people don't know you. You still have a few followers. Then as you grow, you charge according to the budget that you are. But after you've reached, when would you say for you was the threshold where you're like, okay, I've built my brand, I'm building my community. From here onwards, I want to make sure there's a win-win in terms of the brands.
Yeah. So, first of all, funny story. I'm a very soft guy. So I'm more soft than business. So, but my wife is more financially trained. So my wife.
Yeah.
So we started this thing. I remember early days when 20,000 followers were having like proper rate cards and stuff like that. Because I think that's the only time where I started having like a proper. I used to say, friendly, you know what, we're starting, hey, sure. And my wife would put that things like finance, we need to be strict, we need to have those pillars. So she really shaped how I then approach the industry, which is
Mrs. Manager,
that I'm grateful for. Because we had a thing now saying, no, we need to shape those things. But in terms to answer your question, because it's also difficult to distinguish what's a small and a big, like in terms of numbers. You can call yourself a small creator at 2,000. Someone might call themselves small at 10,000. You see,
It's true.
So for me, there's a phase where you're gonna start. So of course, when you're starting trade exchanges, I think because that's where brands sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But I think advice that I would give people when you see brands approach you for a trade exchange. It's good. Let's say take it for then because you want to align yourself. Let's say you're still starting, let's say, make an example, 5,000 followers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that must hit you that there's value in you because they won't come and throw product to you. They see that there's something there.
That's awesome.
It's just a matter of they're testing waters. And because most people, they want a brand, they want this brand deal so much because they want to belong somewhere. Yes, take it if it's not going to be any dent, because I know some people start even charging at 1,000 followers. That's why I say content creation is not regulated. But yeah, there must be a point where, okay, the first, let's say maybe first 2 or 3 trade exchanges, already you should be gearing up yourself that, no, man, I'm worth something, because why would brands want to bring their product to me to align?
That's good.
So I think, for me, I would say start at 1, maybe 2 to 3. Then it must start clicking. Then, okay, I need to start having a package to say, okay, maybe for this exposure, I must charge this and this. And for this exposure, I must charge this and this. It's just that for me, it's been different because we always have brands coming with packages and money, of course. But yeah, for me, I don't know. I'm trying to pinpoint a stage whereby I then said, no, we need to have a cap to say, unless it's benefiting my brand, then it's worth it to say, okay, we can trade exchange there and there. It's hard to pinpoint, but I think because of how the structure has been with me being exposed to brands and payments and stuff. But I think maybe after the first cookbook, that's where I was like, how people responded, winning the awards and stuff like that. I was like, okay, I can see this brand is now big.
Okay.
And it really needs to be taken seriously.
It took a cookbook for you to see that. It was already big by then.
No, that's what I'm saying. I've never been charity thing. Most of the time, that's brands that I've done and worked with have compensated before.
I'm with you.
So for me, it's hard to pinpoint a specific turn and phase. But I think when I have a cookbook, then starting being recognized by people, seeing how people then respond to the brand, I was like, okay, the brand is really big, and I need to start treating it also like that. So yeah, when you do the deals, go in boardrooms, it has to be a win-win situation.
It has to be, yeah.
You are also benefiting, but it's debatable. I mean, as creators, it's debatable. Some can say even when they are big, they can still go for trade. My advice here might not apply to them because maybe different set in life they might be, and they were trying maybe to navigate something, and maybe
that's
that
true.
Brand can be something to
get them onto that.
100%. So yeah, it's never like a
one size fits all.
Black and white, whereby it's like saying now, but yeah.
But I think you've given a very good thing to think about. But it's also just adding to the last part that you're adding. It's important to know where you are in your creative journey, and sometimes you can take a payment knock if it's going to open up another door. There's going to be bigger opportunities.
Definitely.
But also know your worth, and if you are making that decision, let that be a conscious decision, not because people are taking advantage for you. And then the other thing that you mentioned is it's good to know the strengths that we have. You know, some of us are great creators, but we need managers. Like for me, I'm busy all the time. I know I need a manager for my life. You know, if my wife wasn't running her business, she'd be great at that.
Shout out to the missuses.
Yeah, shout out to the missuses, man. Shout out to Mrs. Manager. But it's important to know that I even know some other creators who just got managers to be like, hey, you know what? I love what I do. This whole thing of negotiating budgets and so forth. Somebody else is great at that, and they love to do that. Let me get. But you have to be at a space where you recognize that this is what I'm good at. At first, yes, you might start, you might do it by yourself and so forth. But as you grow, you then look at, okay, I'm not great at this space. Let me get somebody that I can partner with who can help me to navigate that. So I think, thank you for mentioning that. I think that's also very good.
We grow up saying, SWOT analysis.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Once in a while, we need to.
It is important, It's so simple principles that we have to apply. Now, once in a while, we have to create those. Man, this is so good. Man, you went from 0 to over 500,000, followers in the community that you're building. Like we're saying, we're really proud of the cookbooks that you've created. But I think another thing that you've added, which I see as very important and what I encourage other creators to do, is to, while you are creating, create intellectual property. So, for example, you started creating your own recipes. So that means that in the long run, you don't just rely on brand deals. Now you've created intellectual property where you have your own recipes. You can do ebooks, you can do cookbooks. This might be a great opportunity to announce that we are doing a YouTube partnership.
Shout out.
We're doing a YouTube partnerships. So we're going to be experimenting with some of the recipes that are in the cookbook. Some of the recipes are going to be new. So guys, please head over to Sifo the Cooking Husband on YouTube. Follow him because we're going to be launching that soon. But all of that is intellectual property, which means that now you are creating an even better commodity, because when brands partner with you, they don't just partner with what you're creating, they're partnering with you and your intellectual property and the community that you're building, which means that you now have a stronger anchor.
No, definitely.
So it's important for the viewers that are watching that in whatever it is that you're building, how can you create intellectual property with it? For me, intellectual property is this podcast. Having guests come on board, having the conversation, taking the learnings. I'm able to now syndicate this as a newsletter. I'm able to share it across different platforms. And when we get partnerships, now it's partnerships based on the intellectual property that I'm building through this. So I think we live in unprecedented times where people have opportunity to actually create intellectual property that grows their brands. I mean, we look at people like Abo Mr. Beast. We look at people like yourself. We look at Opumile Dwaba in South Africa.
Can be counting
Or
you,
McG.
Mr.
No,
Still need to work,
listen,
but yeah.
no, but we're working. That's what I'm talking about. But we're working. So, what would be your encouragement to somebody who's stuck and they're like, I'm not sure, should I put this online? People are gonna judge me. What are people gonna think? What would be your thoughts to that person who's like, I'm doing it, but I'm afraid of criticism.
Yeah. Because I think that question hits hard because it at some point, that was me. So I'm a person who's very, not shy. I wouldn't say I'm very shy, but I'm like very mindful. Like my life used to revolve about how people perceive me. So I've been struggling with that a lot growing up. So funny that you asked because I had to overcome that because
Sure.
I remember even when my wife said we opened this, it was like, I don't want people to see me now. It's going to raise like attention to me. I never used to post myself because I'm always like mindful of what people say. So it's something that's there and a lot of people are still struggling with. And to come out of it, I had to dig deep. I had to read books. I had to build confidence, which is sometimes we take it lightly and say confidence is just like something you get. Some of us are not born with it. There's people that are born with it. Some of us are not. I know I was one of those.
Sure,
I used to question a lot. If someone will say something about me, I'll take that to mind. And it has taken a journey with also a strong wife, because my wife was that person I would rely on. Because I remember even early cooking days, we would get criticism, but she would make sure that, no, man, you're good at this. Do not ever doubt because of someone say that. So I think for me, for those people, it's first to acknowledge, because I think sometimes when you're stuck in that point, there's something where people sometimes make excuses.
Yeah.
So people will make an excuse like, nah, I don't have time for it. But deep down, you know that, you know what, I'm good at reviewing cars, but I just don't know what people are going to think of me. So-and-so is going to think of me. So it's first being in touch with yourself and be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes we make excuses like, man, so one is doing it already. But you know deep down, you want to do this thing.
True.
But you are using a specific excuse to cover your emotional aspect, because you know that you're afraid of how people are going to say you look, how you talk on camera. I mean, my English is not that great, but I always tell people it was one of those things that was holding me back. I never wanted to show my face. I never wanted to go. But now opportunities are coming. Sifo want you to cook on a TV show, and I have to overcome that. And we cannot all be perfect. So I think for me, talking to that person is like just looking at the introspection. Remove people. So removing people from your head helps a lot. I think it's one of the things that is, people say it a lot, but a lot of people don't know how to apply. So, and I've seen how important that is. When you remove people's perception, you're stuck with your own perception of, Mawanda, I want to get there, regardless of so-and-so says what. Sino, this is what I want to achieve, regardless of how people perceive me. If I want to jump off the plane, I don't care if my father's going to say this and this and this. This is what I want to achieve. So it's getting to that point of doing it for yourself, doing that introspection, knowing why you have to do this thing, and follow it wholeheartedly. I mean, believing in that, if I listened to those external voices, I would never be here sitting with you today, to be honest. So for that person that is stuck there, do it. Do it. Remove people. If you know you are passionate with something, regardless of how it's going to be perceived, and sometimes you find that it's so funny, these people that you put in your mind, because remember, all these things are created. It's not like people have said it, but it's just like you perceive. It's like, if I walk out this way, people might say this. Yeah. And you might find that people are busy. Some don't even look through those things. And you're just holding things away from people and keeping that talent. So it's just being in touch with yourself and just trusting yourself. So getting confidence is hard. I won't lie. I don't want to sit there and say just be confident, but there's a lot of aspects to it and layers that we need to. There are people like me, because I know I'm still building. I'm still working with those confidence. If I have to go on stage, people always ask, but you used to this thing on TV. I'm like, no. Sometimes I still also have to work myself and then just come into that zen of saying, Sifo, you know why you're here, what's your purpose, what God brought you here for. Remove the external pictures and everything is gonna. So yeah, it's doing that. So now
thank you for sharing that, man. No, thank you for sharing that, because you find that a lot of us struggle with such things.
Yeah.
I always say that one of my biggest fears, I was even telling someone yesterday, the one thing I didn't like about high school was doing speaking in public.
Yeah, public speaking. But look at you now.
Because I would be so nervous, I would shake, I would get low marks, again, because I cared about what people think, and it's a muscle that I had to train. And then another thing, a perception that I started taking to help me get out of that space quickly now is that the more you care about what people think about you, it's actually an ego problem, not a shyness problem. It means that my ego is so big that I think that everybody in the world stops and just looks at me and they care about what I'm doing. So I know that challenged me a lot, because that meant that I also had to accept that, oh, shucks, I actually might have an ego problem. Because I think that everybody looks at what I'm doing. So that perspective, it shakes me, because I'm like, oh, no, then I have to get out of that perspective, because on one level, we hide behind it and say, oh, it's been shy or it's been this, which is probably true. But on another level, it also means that we have an ego of thinking that everybody cares so much about what we do. So I think
that's very profound.
I thought that was great. So we have a tradition. We're going to do a rapid fire before we finish this podcast. Thank you for joining us, man. This has been so powerful.
Already on the that time I'm still enjoying. I want it to flow.
Oh no, it goes quickly.
Yeah, it goes.
But thankfully that you're going to be a guest that is going to continue to come back, because for the next episode I really want us to cover what it means being an author and selling so many copies. And I think I really would love to break that down for some of us who still have to author and write things and sell that.
I appreciate that.
And then we also want to leave a link in the bio for all the books, the YouTube channel, so that guys make sure you get yourself a copy. It's a must. So rapid fire, just quick answer questions. What's one belief you held about success that turned out to be completely wrong?
One belief I held about success that is completely wrong. Money is not everything.
Why are you saying it's wrong?
I thought this was rapid. You just answer.
Now I'm curious. Now I want to know.
I think we all want to be successful and be rewarded monetarily. But there are other rewards that satisfies a person that are not monetary. And money is not everything. I mean, when you have money, it's easy to fix some things, but it doesn't make you completely happy. There are other aspects in life that are also important. So,
looks
and a lot of people think when you're successful, it's like money. It's like you have to drive these things, have these houses and stuff. Yeah, it's not everything.
That's good. Sure. What's the one skill you think every person should learn that most people ignore?
Listening. So, listening. I think even growing up, we were told this in our English classes and stuff, communication and listening. Most of people are not listening, and I think that's why the world is at this point where we are now, where there's a lot of problems and stuff like that, divorces, people not seeing eye to eye, families fighting each other. I think listening is a overrated skill. People don't like when we in a conversation. It's like I want to get my point across.
That's true.
No one wants to listen to say, what is he actually wanting to say? What can I... Because there's undertones sometimes with these communications. We see people doing suicide a lot.
Yeah.
But maybe the message was there. It's just that didn't listen. So, I think listening.
That's so good. People say we're quick to react and not respond. Yeah. Question number 3. If you had to start over tomorrow, no followers, no reputation, and no money, what's the first thing you do?
Just say... Everything I did when I started, post what you love. So do what you love. The rest is going to be a reward.
Sure. So just share what you love.
And share what you love. Do not have high expectations. A lot of people quit in these things because they have these. I think I listened to a nice podcast that explained this really nice, that we put end goals that are maybe like 5 years in 1 year. So let's say you want to be a pharmacist. 1 year you say already I need to maybe have a house or so, but we don't break them down into smaller goals to keep us motivated. So by the time you put a bigger goal and you're not achieving that, you give up. So even that creation, people would have a perception that by the first year I must have 5,000 or 10,000 followers. And that is a bigger goal. Work with smaller goals. Maybe I should have posted 10 posts. Maybe by this post I want to maybe have shared an online recipe. Build it in blocks.
That's so good.
And then that picture is going to come. So I think that's what keeps people demotivated in doing these things, because we get our goal alignment wrong. We start taking the bigger picture and putting it right in front of us. And it's hard to reach that picture. You need to break it down.
That's so good. There's something that's always said, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years.
Yeah, true.
So I think that's so well said. Question number 4, what would your 20-year-old self not believe about your life today?
that I'm popular.
Yeah,
I was never that kid in school, shy, always at the back. Never used to not like girls, but I was not those people that were there in front. So I think they would be shocked, like, hey, you.
Over 500,000 followers online. Last question, complete this sentence. Everyone is designed to create because?
Everyone is designed to create because they are capable and they're talented. And they're passionate about that. Yeah.
That's good. No, that's good. That's good. Man, Sifo the Cooking Husband, where can people follow you? I know that we're going to add it in our show notes. But where can people follow you and get your books?
So yeah, first of all, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
This has been an amazing interview. Really appreciate it. You're talented at what you do, so keep doing it.
Oh man, I appreciate
Don't
so
give
much.
up. You're gonna get there. I always say when I go to podcasts, I see growth. So for you, I see growth. Never give up what you're doing. What you're doing here is important, and it also trains us, like build confidence. Because as I said, communication is a skill. So thank you, man.
Thank you.
Mwanda. Really appreciate it. We're on social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. So Sifo the Cooking Husband. So underscore between each word. So Sifo the Cooking Husband. That's where you can find me. Oh, YouTube also. How did I forget?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because I'm
You're on
starting
YouTube.
the YouTube thing. Yeah, I'm becoming serious about YouTube, guys. So please make sure that you support YouTube page and let's grow. And I'm gonna give you more longer content.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's connect.
Shout out. Thank you, my brother.